Well, next, let's go to Ukraine on the programme, where overnight Russian missile strikes killed 3 people in the Black Sea city of Odesa and 3 others in the Donetsk region. The attacks come as Kyiv's counteroffensive to reclaim occupied territory is now underway. For the very latest, we can cross live now to our Ukraine correspondent, Gulliver Cragg. He's in Zaporizhia for us today. And Gulliver, you recently were in the Donetsk region, not too far from the front line. Just tell us a bit about what you witnessed and how perhaps that pertains to the Ukrainian counteroffensive.
Well, so this morning I went to Velika Novosilka, which is a Ukrainian-held town in the western part of Donetsk region. Just south of there are the 4 villages that Ukraine has confirmed having liberated in what is in a way the most successful announcement that they've been able to make about the counteroffensive so far. Velika Novosilka is largely in ruins. 60 to 70% of its housing stock is destroyed, according to security service agents that I spoke to. All of its municipal buildings are destroyed, and frankly the atmosphere there was spooky. There was hardly anyone around, though I was told later that there are several hundred civilians still living in the town. But I then went to a place about 15 kilometers from there where soldiers tend to stop and get a coffee, a sort of roadside shop and cafe. Chatted a bit to soldiers there, a lot of them not giving anything away, sticking very closely to the Ukrainian policy of absolute secrecy about how the counteroffensive is going. But one officer did say to me that the task at the moment was securing Ukrainian control over those liberated villages, with Russia trying to counterattack. Ukraine still needs to consolidate its modest gains in that area. But Ukrainian officials, especially the Deputy Defense Minister Hanna Maliar, have also been saying that Ukraine has been making gains elsewhere along the front line. And I think compared to the kind of mood I saw among Ukrainian soldiers who were fighting to defend Bakhmut a few weeks ago, they eventually lost control of Bakhmut, the mood today was reasonably upbeat, or at least calm. The soldiers did not appear to be exhausted or as if they had just returned from a very grueling battle, as was the case with some of the people I spoke to near Bakhmut. You certainly could hear a lot of firing in the distance, though, and local people said that the noise level, if you like, had increased dramatically over the past week.
And Gulliver, meanwhile, the Russian aerial attacks on Ukrainian cities are continuing, with a strike on Odesa overnight.
Yes, 3 people have been killed in Odesa, 3 civilians, in a strike on a sort of business, entertainment and shopping centre, which I think has apartments also attached to it, not far from the city centre in that port city. There's also 3 people reported killed, civilians, in Donetsk region, the Ukrainian-held part of Donetsk region, in the towns of Kramatorsk and Konstantinivka. And then there's 6 civilians, 4 of them forestry workers, who were killed when their minibus was hit in Sumy region in the northeast of the country. So there are, on an almost daily basis, civilian deaths in Ukraine, but it's worth remembering, however awful the civilian deaths are, there are many more deaths of soldiers than there are of civilians. In every town and village in Ukraine, there are fresh graves, and many of these soldiers, of course, only were soldiers for a very short time. They only were recruited to the army very recently.
Gulliver Cragg, live for us there in Zaporizhia, Ukraine. Thank you.